Hi friends, it's Pam with Silver and Sparkles, and I have a fun one-page wonder for us today and a bunch of ephemera that I've made. So let me first show you what I've made and then tell you about the one we're going to make together. So I am planning a summer journal, and I want to have sections for different events during the summer. And one of those is going to be July 4th. We always enjoy spending time with family and sometimes traveling. It just depends on July 4th. So I made this super cute one-page wonder. Look at these images. Are they not precious? To sew into the signature of my journal. So I am going to, however I choose, it'll probably be a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. That's kind of my go-to, but it'll get sewn in. So when you get to this page, you'll see this pocket and journaling spot, and then later in the journal when it comes up, you'll see the journaling spot, these flips, and 2 more pockets. Now, you can use this one-page wonder differently, and what I would do is I wouldn't decorate this panel, and then I would just put it in my journal like this, and then it can open this way, right? And then it can open this way. So there's lots of options, and I'll kind of talk about that some more as we go. The one we're going to make today, we were going to make with all flowers and vintage little fairies and things like that, but mostly flowers because I love flowers. And I always tell you guys, you can use any paper that makes you happy, but sometimes how a project ends up looking and how appealing it is to people really depends on the paper you choose, right? So this is great for me. I live in the United States. My family, we celebrate 4th of July. So I wanted some things. Now, I also made some precious, I think they're precious, journaling cards or just ephemera cards to put in that section of my journal. I made dangles. I used this gorgeous sari silk ribbon, which I'll tell you guys about. But these are some of the digitals from the Making and Creating website. And they have the Digital Collage Club. Look at these. All the vintage, and the clip art corner. So if you're interested, the link and coupons for you if you decide you want to subscribe are in the video description. I used all kinds of kits, and that's one of the beautiful things about that site is once you're a member, you have access, unlimited downloads to everything. And so I can mix and match my kits. It's also easy. Like I just put in the keyword July and all these different kits came up. I'm using the July 4th large tags, the 4th of July ATC cards, retro patriotism. So it's just, again, easy. Aren't they cute? And all kinds of my ribbons and things. So, and I think a gingham ribbon on anything vintage definitely works, right? So I hope you guys like it. Oh, and then the paper that I'm using to make the one-page wonder with is I think it was one of their brand new ones, the ivory damask papers, and there's a bunch of different patterns, and I just thought they would work well with both themes that I'm planning to do. So you can, again, for the actual one-page wonder, you can use any piece of paper. The size you're going to want to cut your paper to, and I'll put the dimensions in the description of the box, and the scoring is 9 inches by 7.5. So you can start with just a regular size piece of paper, or you can use scrapbook paper, okay? And I printed mine on a 90-pound Nina weight cardstock, if that helps both sides. If you have single-sided paper, this will work too. You just will have a side that's white, and you can then decorate it. And if you decide to install this in your journal, you'll only have 2 sides you have to decorate. So there you go. Okay, let's put these aside. I just think They turned out so cute. I'm very, very excited about them. Okay, I'm going to set them aside. I may need to look at the one-page wonder to help me remember a few things that I did. So get your piece of paper and cut it to 9 inches by 7.5. I think I'm going to use this one. And then we are going to cut on the 9-inch side. We're going to cut this into 3 3-inch sections. So first I'm going to cut at 6 inches. So now I have a 3 by 7.5 strip. And then I'm going to cut again at 3 inches. So now I have 3 7 by 7.5 inch strips. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Now I am going to score, and all of these are going to be scored exactly the same. So that part's easy too. You're going to score each of these on the 7.5 inch side at 2.5 and 5.5. All right. So if you guys are new to my channel, 2.5 and 5.5, welcome. Glad you're here. If you're returning viewers, you guys have become fast friends, and thank you so much. I appreciate you being here and supporting me. I love your comments. Keep them coming. Ask me questions. Tell me what you're up to. Tell me if you're going to make the project, that kind of thing. It's awesome. Okay. Now that you have 3 pieces that measure 3 by 7.5, you want to fold them, and you do want to be careful folding, making sure everything is nice and neat. I'm going to go ahead and crease each of mine, and then I'm going to ink all 3 of these. So it's going to take me a moment, and you can listen to me chit chat. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet. You might miss something fabulous. Or you can fast forward if you don't want to watch me fold and ink, okay? These come together quite easy, but I have found when I'm just a smidge more careful, they do work better. And I did not score something correctly. This is what happens sometimes. Sometimes this happens. Yep, I scored this one at 2 and 5. What did I do with this one? This one I did correctly. And this one I did not do correctly. So I think it was because I was talking, right? We're going to lay these back on the scoreboard. I could stop and not even let you guys see my mistake, but in the spirit of we all make mistakes, 2.5, not 2. 2.5 and 5. You probably saw me doing that while I was yapping. 2.5 and 5. In the spirit that things are fixable, let's just power on through. Several of you have left me comments in the past. You're like, I just like it when you will power on through and we can see how you fix it. This is one of those projects that it really will be okay. It will be okay. Now I am going to make sure where I made the boo-boo, those turn into pockets and they're not my flips, so that my flips, even though I end up layering them quite a bit, we don't have that extra fold. Okay. Everything's fixable. Everything is fixable. See, if you had already fast forwarded, you would have missed that. Okay, so I'm inking around the edges, and I'm going to ink on the correct score lines. And then I'm going to show you how we glue this sweet little one together. Now, I have made a similar one of these before, but it was a long time ago. I can't remember what design and what papers and all the things that I used, but I do remember that I got a lot of questions about how to glue it because I don't think I did a very good job of explaining that. And I don't mind questions. I love questions, but I certainly don't like to confuse you guys and or not be clear. So I'm hoping if you have seen that video, you'll still watch this one, because I think sometimes I do different things, right? And again, that was a few years ago probably. So you may not have seen it. Anyway, I will hopefully make it a little clearer on how to glue. And it's funny, that's kind of the ones you remember, right? Like a lot of these sometimes for me, because I craft so much, sometimes, you know, the projects run together a little bit, and a lot of them are just variations on similar ideas. It's still fun. And again, it sparks creativity, and I think helps us, again, with our own ideas, right? And get the juices flowing. But it's funny when you make a mistake or you've struggled a little bit, that's when you tend to remember more. So I don't know. I think we're always our own worst critics, aren't we? We're hard on ourselves sometimes. Okay. Super duper pretty papers. Okay. Now, this one is the one I did correctly. All right. I'm going to make a decision. And of course, you can alter your patterns. You can do something like this. On my other one, I didn't. I just used the, I turned them the same way. So what I mean by that is I had all the patterns that matched together. And then when you flip it over, see, this one, maybe we'll alternate. So want to, okay, I'm going to put this one at the top. And then I'm going to do, they're almost the same, but it'll be fun. We'll just go for it. I think this one has a little more pink in the background, and this one has a little more taupe or brown. All right. So they're all the same except for the pattern, and for me where I made the mistake with my scoring. So they're all the same. You just decide how you like how they look. Now, one thing that I found to make this be nice and neat is I am going to make a mark at 1.5 inch, right? And this is what's going to help with the glue thing. Right on the right hand edge, I'm going to mark at 1.5 inches. I don't know if you can see it, but on that score, you know, right at that score line. And then I'm also going to make a little pencil mark right here. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to help me know where to lay my glue. We're not laying any glue on the left-hand panel. That's where we're going to have the flips. All right? So you don't want to glue those. So we're going to put a bead of glue from the mark I made at 1.5 inches right along that score line. You want to, I'm taking it out. You want to be to this side of the score line if possible. This one, it doesn't matter as much because they're both getting glued as pockets. So along that score line and then right along this edge. So that's 3 beads of glue. And then along the bottom of these 2 panels. Okay. And then you're going to pick up your next page and line it up right at those marks. So you're coming up 1.5 inches, and hopefully they're the same. And you get this nice and even. You can use the where you inked to help you see where to line them up too. If you see your pencil mark, you can erase it, maybe. I think I got glue on mine, doesn't want to erase. But that makes, you have the 2 flaps, and you may want to go ahead and flap it and make sure you didn't accidentally glue this down some. And now we have 2 pockets. We are going to do the same thing again. We are going to mark right at 1.5 inches. You can eyeball this if you want to, but it may just not be quite as neat. Okay. And now I'm going to add glue to the right of this score line. I'm going to add glue along this one, along this edge, and then along the bottom of these two panels. And then I'm going to pick up my paper, and again, I'm going to do my very best to line it up as neat as I can. Okay, there we go. Fold that one over. All right, and then you have options of how you want to, you know, have it ziggy fold or however, zigzag fold. So I liked having my flaps, my pockets, and then you flip it over. I have pockets, and then these are not pockets. They're just the tiered paper. And this is where I covered mine with journaling space. But again, let me show you before we do any decorating. If you don't want to sew this in like I plan to do with mine, I plan to sew this as part of a signature into a journal. If you're not going to do that, you're probably going to glue it maybe to a journal page, or you could just give this as a little folio to someone, like a Happy Mail, something like that. It definitely can go in a large pocket in a journal. It can be standalone. But if you want to glue it to a page, let's get a journal out. You want to glue it to a page. What I would do, this is how my pockets load. No, it's not. This is how my pockets load. There's my pockets. I would glue this panel to the page. And then I would have my One Page Wonder open this way. Here, these are just the flips, so you can decorate or put journaling spot, and I'd put a journaling spot right there. That's how I would do it. It's totally up to you. I did notice I got mine off just a little bit on the edge, but that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect, Pam. When I was a little girl, my dad nicknamed me several things. Some were not very appealing, but they would ask me something, or, you know, what is your name? And I would say, Perkit Pam, because my father told me I was perfect, and he would call me Perfect Pam. I was not perfect, but don't we all deserve to have parents that believe we're pretty close to it, right? I was cute, I guess. So Perkit Pam does not have to be perfect. All right, I am happy with how this came together. Now we're just gonna have fun decorating it. Do you guys ever, sometimes I just have to mention this, I forgot to put my ring on this morning. I wear it pretty much every moment I'm awake. And every once in a while I forget it. I forgot it the other day too. I think I got out of my routine when I got up this morning. Anyway, and then sometimes I'll sit here and I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm not completely dressed. All right, we are going to now decorate this and make some fun little clusters and tags and some pieces of ephemera similar to the ones I did with the July 4th papers. So let me get this out. Now I printed out a kit. This one is the flower bouquet small tags, and I thought these are, oops, that's not a pocket, Pam. These are gonna be so cute in these pockets, see? And I actually put them on some of these vintage, I just backed them with the index card. You could print on both sides. You don't have to back them. They can be white. It'll be fine. But I just thought they were the perfect size for this project. So that was a really good one. And then the flowers for Mom. They don't say anything about Mom, so I don't think they're just for Mom, but that's the name of the kit. Are beautiful like postcard images. And we're going to use these to decorate and make some clusters and tags with. And then I also did the spring flower circles, and this was just a page where you've got the 1-inch circles. I've already punched them all out, and then they had some little bitty ones. They had some really small that I did not cut out, but then I also used, look at this, guys, I was so excited when I discovered this. I used my little mini oval punch. Again, an old one from Stampin' Up, no idea, but the size on it, in case you want to try to find an oval punch, is 3 1/4 inch by 5/16 of an inch. I had no idea, but when you have a 1-inch circle. This is a 1-inch circle. And they punched out perfectly with my 1-inch circle punch, okay? The oval fits on the 1-inch circle perfectly. I wish I had left one to punch out to show you. I think it makes sense what I'm talking about, but for those of you that are like me and you're very visual, so I'm just gonna trace this because I know this is 1 inch. All right, so just pretend this is our digital or a 1-inch something. This oval punch, you can position right in there and it punches out perfectly. So I punched some in ovals too. I didn't discover it until I'd almost punched all of them out. I don't even remember why I tried it, but there you go. Fun, fun, fun. And I haven't backed those yet with anything, but I do have them punched out. And then there was the vintage fairy dominoes. And you can again search by dominoes if you like this shape. And I've cut some out because I just thought they coordinated so much, so fun with the flowers. And I have extra of the tags that we can also like just punch or tear and use to decorate. So we have lots to play with. And I'm very happy to do that. Okay, let me show you one other thing. And then we're really going to get started on decorating. This is one of my new obsessions. And I found it, I love sari silk, and I have for a very long time created with, I'm trying to find my roll here, but with the neutral, and I have a few colors. Like I had some that were like these types of colors, and I still love those. And the neutral's probably, here it is probably, of course, still one of my absolute favorites, because in my mind it goes with everything, and you can't, have too many things to go with everything. But I found this was 42 yards on Amazon, and they had a little coupon, I think for 5% off. Anyway, I think it ended up being around $24, $25, $26. They have one, it hasn't arrived yet, that I ordered that are in muted or more subtle colors and more browns and neutrals. Anyway, this was one of their vibrant sets. I will link this. It's in my Amazon shop, but I will make sure, I will try to remember to just link this in case you guys are interested. Each one of these, they say it's 42 yards, and I counted, I got 42 different strips. This one I haven't cut yet. So if I pull that out, that's 12 inches. So that's a yard. And so they're generous cuts too. Just thought I'd mention. Okay. Love them. So I picked out for my 4th of July, and these are, I didn't use all of them, but the brown and blue, and then this one had some blue, and then I don't think I have a little piece of the red out, and then one that was a pattern that had like a burgundy red that I thought just went really well vintage. And then I picked out for these flowers a green, a pink, this kind of tealy blue. Anyway, we'll see what happens. And I have other ribbons, of course, here that we can play with, but I was just so excited that I wanted to show you guys that in case you're interested and you want to grab some for yourself. And they had other things too in that shop on Amazon. Okay. I think that's all for show and tell right now. The first thing that I want to do is I think I'm going to do mine this way. I want to decorate the front of my flaps. So that's corresponds with these. So these 3 flaps, and then we'll decorate the pockets, make some things. I'm gonna have to move quickly and layer on there. So I don't know, we'll try to get all of this done. I like to lay it this way. I know this is going to be the front. This is the way I want to flip mine. And honestly, you can still change it up if you change your mind, right? You can go other ways because it just flips back and forth. But this way it lays nice and flat. Now these are a little bit large. And what I like, I like the word postcard, and I'm sure I might use that somewhere else, but I'm just going to tear that off. You guys know I love a torn edge. You can do what I did on some of these and layer book page. You can cut them smaller and do strips. Some of these though, I just took the card, did a torn edge, and kept going. This one I did a fussy cut. This one I added a little bit of sheet music. So again, the sky's the limit, but I want to show you, even if you just go kind of simple, it really does. They look great. So all of these are the same size because I measured. I'm going to go ahead and get 3 prepped, and then we will decide what order that I want to lay them down in. And if we decide we want to lay some of the words, so I've got kind of a blue with a polka dot, a pink with the stripe, and this one can actually go either way, I think. These definitely have a direction. And I was thinking maybe a yellow. Ooh, yes, a yellow. These African violets, I'm making a journal, and the lady, I don't know if she watches my YouTube channel, but anyway, she loves African violets, so I may have to save that one or make something with that one for her. Okay, and it needs the tear. All right, I love these flowers. Okay. Here we go. All right, so do I want pink? Do I want yellow? Or do I want blue on the front? Let's see how they look when I start layering them like this. So we kind of see them. I think that's okay. We're gonna go for it. All right. And again, I've saved these because we may end up using them here, or I may use them on my, it's like toppers for my journaling spots. That might be fun. I can also choose to grab one of these circles, and we can add a little touch. This one I may come and do that with, just because it's speaking to me. Yeah, I'm gonna put that on there, cover up the top of those, but it'll be okay. And I'm sure some of you guys know exactly what type all of these flowers are. That's not my strong suit. I wish I did. My grandmother Opal knew every plant, every flower, every grass. I loved as a child to go on walks with her because she would tell me the names of everything we would see. All right, now let me look at, there's some more of those African violets. And I love this because I love them for various reasons, but the scale is correct. And it's just so pretty. And what I mean by that is, you know, the images are teeny tiny on the teeny tiny embellishments. I'm going to, just because I can, put that there for a little extra interest. My watch told me, it's early this morning, and told me that I'm off to a great start. So that's good to know, right, with my activity. It's actually not that early anymore. I thought it was. I've been up for a while. Okay. And I may add more later, but we're going to do that. So now I want to decorate this side of the flip. And we will do something similar. Look how pretty that is. We will do something similar. I chopped these off just with my trimmer and didn't kind of make the vintagey edges cuts or anything because I knew I was going to be doing some tearing. Not quite sure. And again, you can do these each differently. You don't have to do them like I am. I'm pretty much doing the same thing on each one, just because I know I want to look at the flowers and we'll enjoy that. But on the 4th of July one, like I said, I did a little more fussy cutting, but it lent, the images definitely seem to lend themselves to that a little more. So anyway, it's always your choice on how you want to do that. Let me pick another one. I like this one with these stripes in the background. Okay. My I watched, I don't know if you guys have had the chance to go visit any of the new Silver Sparklers Design Team channel websites, but Pam, the ginger cat lady, she put up, she participated in the 15-minute paper craft challenge, but I love what she did. She recorded it herself, and then she knows how to edit videos, obviously, because I'm impressed. Pam, I'm impressed. She sped it up, so you're watching her create, but she's then talking, she's narrating, and she does that with several of her videos. It's really nice. Anyway, she did the 15-minute challenge. She made clusters, and then she talked about gratitude and this community, and excited about, you know, things happening in her life. It was just very inspiring, and I really enjoyed it. And there was something she said that I wanted to tell you about. Oh, she said, I thought that I was maybe the only one that liked to, you know, just have paper and glue down paper and pretty images. I'm not exactly sure how she worded it. And my kids have said for a long time that I like to tear paper up and then glue it back together. And I am also very glad to know that I am not the only one. Yeah, definitely glad to know I'm not the only one. All right, I'm going to put the pink one up here and use the postcard. I don't know that I'm going to do that for all of them. It looked almost like too matchy that they were all torn and had that same topper. But I'm going to do it with this one, and then I will decide. I could have torn these differently so they were a little bit taller, because they look a little short on the panels the way I ended up tearing. This one is okay. I'm going to pop it right there. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pop it here, and I'll tell you why in just a second. I'm going to pop it there, and then I'm going to put this one here because I have yellow. And I kind of want the yellow when you have it open this way to see it. Okay. Now, let's see what we're looking like. Very cute, right? And if we want to, we can add ribbons. We can do different things. I do like seeing the postcard there. That's nice. All right, now I have these two panels to decorate, and then we want to do some things for the pockets. So I am looking again. I'm thinking, trying to decide which ones I want. I'm going to do that. And like I said, I've kept this pretty basic. Maybe we will, let me see what is on my desk. I always have something, right? I don't have any book page. We can pull some out. I can reach it. But this was just a tag from a kit sitting on my desk. And I don't know what kit, so sorry. But just, you know, a little piece of ephemera. And no, maybe I'll just have it peeking out when I lay this one down. If I need to trim it up more, I can. Yeah, it's not going to peek out much like that, Pam. I'm going to just make this one a touch smaller. And then we'll do this. Why not? It's different. Anyway, I will, if I don't like it, I will figure something out in a minute, but let's just go with it. I actually did quite a bit of prep for this video, getting the pieces cut out and punched out. But because of just, I guess, the way this project is, there's still a lot to do. All right. And one of the things that I really enjoyed that I did before is the different dangles that I made. But again, that's pretty simple. It's just using some of those dominoes and maybe some circles and different things. But we'll make a dangle. We will. All right. I mentioned this in another video, but I was going to just remind you guys, if you see a paper kit, especially if you decided to join the Digital Collage Club or the Clip Art Corner, if you see something that you'd like me to try to make a project with, let me know. Tell me which kit or which kits, and I will see if I can work that into my creative schedule. I just thought that would be kind of fun. Or if there's other kits, you know, by other creators that you see, or even ones on my site that I haven't worked with lately, or you would like another video with that particular kit, please let me know. I like it when you guys make requests and ask for certain things. I can't always do it, but I can try, or it sometimes stretches me to try things that I would not have otherwise tried. Okay, these, all I'm going to do is take 2 of my index cards, and I'm going to cut this. I'm pretty sure I cut them to 2 1/4 inches, and they were already 5 inches long. So we're going to cut them down to 2 1/4. And I have these I can write words on. Yes, just like that. And I'm going to ink and glue them down. This is going to cover up a little bit where you see I layered the paper. And we're going to glue these down, and then I'm going to top each one of these with one of those little postcard tears that we have right here. And if you want the lines, you can have the lines. I'm going to leave it with just the plain, and I love how natural these index cards aged. They definitely have a nice color to them. Okay, so there's one. Definitely needed a little bit of a haircut. Okay, I think that one will fit there nicely. It will need some ink and maybe a blue one. And I could even tear these a smidge. They're a little wide, or feeling they look a little wide the way I did the paper. Okay, let's see if we like them. There we go. I could have come up from the bottom just a touch with my cards, but it's okay. I think it would center a little bit better if I had, but it's all right. Oh, pretty. Just something that simple, and now we have some lovely writing space. Of course, you could add pockets and other things on these as well. All right, so now we are going to just prep a few of these for the pockets. I am going to go ahead and just punch the holes out. And we will play with the ribbon a little bit and maybe add one of the little circles. Oh, or the dominoes. We haven't done the dominoes. I wanted to do those too. I really liked some of the clusters I made with those. So let me set this aside. So one option is to cut them out like this, and I glued them back to back so that if it flipped, you know, I had the image on both sides. I think some I may have put just on some red paper or some neutral paper that's on the index card. So it just totally depends. But these had this blue background in between them. So then I thought if I cut 2 out this way and then fold it in half, I get that little blue edge, and then I can just glue them together. So I'm definitely going to do one like that. And then I haven't folded it yet, but somewhere here, I left the blue on both sides and in the middle. So let's see what that one looks like. It's not the same amount. You could trim this off if you want it to match, but I kind of like it like that. So we're just going to glue that one together. And again, you can also print on the other side if you don't want it to be white on the other side. Just glue these 2 together since they're cut out. There we go. All right, I think that's enough of those for right now. They need a little touch of ink. And I know what I haven't done is I have not turned on my hot glue in case I want to layer some of these. So let's turn that on while we're still working. And when I say layer, I'm thinking about doing, here, I'll show you in 1 second, 1 second. I want to be able to talk, ink, and show you things at the same time. So some of these, oh, actually, you know what? I didn't even glue them. Never mind. I used my little stapler and made, this one I punched a hole and tied those fibers to it. But I just stapled some lace and some ribbons. So we'll just do it that way. That's super easy. Where did you go? All right. She's so cute. So I have these, and we may glue a few of the flowers, circles. We may glue some of those back to back as well. And that way we can have some some dangles with the flower images as well. It would have helped if I had looked to see if my flowers were upside down or not when I glued them, but we're not going to worry about it. If that's important use, like when you poke a hole and then it flips over, mine are pretty close to, or that one is anyway. Okay, I have 2 of those prepped. We'll see how much we need or how many we decide we want. Okay, I know I want to use some ribbon. So this is what I did with the Sari Silk is I estimated approximately how long of a piece I was going to want to either tie or staple on. Didn't want it too short, but I also don't want to waste it. And then I cut them into thinner strips. You can try tearing them. This is silk, and I never have good luck. So I'm just, even if it's not exactly straight, that's okay with me. I'm just tearing each one into 3 strips. That's a little more the size I need for these tiny pieces. And so here, we'll do one just right into one of the tags like this. So again, couldn't be easier. And how sweet is that, right? And then to take it up a notch, let's see if I can find maybe a little heart. How about a little heart? Has a little crown on it. And perhaps that little circle. And I would normally get out my paper piercer, but I'm just going to use this needle that's sitting right here. And I need a pin. So let's get a bulb pin out. Okay. So now, very quickly, I want the little heart on top and then the little circle that's on both sides. And I'm just gonna take it right through that hole, or you can put it through the ribbon if you want to. And now I have this little dangle right there. How cute is that? Or it can go this one. And then we have some ribbon sticking out. It's a little tall, so I'm gonna trim it off. But you can leave them long if you like them long. Okay, so that's a very simple, easy way to do the tag. I think I've told you guys this before. A lot of times I will cut the tags like this and then go ahead and glue it if I'm gonna back it onto like a piece of cardstock. This one isn't a whole piece, but, and then cut it out once instead of cutting these out, gluing them down and cutting them out again. It's probably not hard to figure out, but sometimes I don't think about it until after I've cut them out. And then I'm like, oh, I didn't have to do that. Okay. I think this one would look cute with some of the pink. So that's why we have scissors, right? I'm going to cut it right there. And I know I don't need a very big piece at all. So I'm gonna cut it here. And again, I'm gonna cut it into some little strips. Now, when I do it like this, I'm not going to be looping or tying. I'm just gonna grab my stapler and we're gonna go with that. Very cute. What else do I want to do? It's just, it really does lend itself to very easy ephemera. I'm going to add a piece of lace. Let's make a larger, even though it isn't going to fit. Is that pocket glue? No, even though it's not going to necessarily fit in the One Page Wonder. Let's make one with a little bit larger dangle too. All right, now I have not backed this one yet. And remember how I said to glue it down and then cut once? Ha, I just cut it out. But that's okay. We are going to very quickly glue it down. And I think I want to leave the stripes on this one for writing space. It can be oriented. It can be oriented this way. It'll be okay. And cut this out real quick, is we'll be able to add a little bit larger ribbon and some dangle on this one because it's a little bit bigger. Ink. And it can be a companion piece to our tiny One Page Wonder here. So fun. All right. I am going to use the stapler. I'm actually going to staple it kind of at the bottom, near the bottom too. Oh, I'm out of staples. Of course I am. That's what always happens, right? This is, you know, we talk about some of our favorite tools, and you can use a regular stapler, guys. The little tiny ones are so cute and they make me happy. But you talk about some of our favorite tools. This little stapler is definitely one of my favorite tools. Okay. And mostly I'm going to staple it again because this ribbon is not, it has that hem, so it looks like a little ruffle, and it's not, you know, gonna lay straight. Now, certainly glue, we wouldn't show 3 staples, but it's all right. I will grab one of these teeny tiny circles. I'm gonna put one right there, cover up at least one of the staples. I have a big mess on my desk. There we go. And then I want to do a dangle for this one. So we are going to dangle her and her. And we are going to, I already used the little tiny one I glued together. So we're going to glue together another smaller circle. Oops. Oh no, don't get glue on the stapler, Pam. Let's see. I'm going to glue this one together. And then we will also pick a charm. Maybe this little bird. That'll be sweet. Oh, I also have this wooden heart that's in here. It's a little bit large. And then I am thinking, my thinking cap is on. Maybe another, oh goodness. I'm not sure if any of the ribbons that I chose are exactly what I want, but let's see what this will look like. We're gonna do her. No, that's not what I want. So we are going to take another portion of this lace, but I'm going to cut out where it has been sewn right here. I'm gonna just cut that off because I think what will happen is I'm gonna like it better. Now I'm gonna do a slot punch. You guys, thank you for hanging with me. Sometimes this is what happens when you don't plan everything out. You just have to think for a minute. Okay, I'm going to pull this through and tie it because I think I'm gonna want to attach my dangle to this. And I like that it matches the lace on the side. And I'm gonna cut it a little short. Yeah, that makes me happy. Okay, my needle, because I need to punch a hole. See this side, and I'm gonna punch a hole kind of in the corner here. I hope I haven't been going off camera. I tend to work because of my eyesight. I tend to creep to this section of my mat because anyway, it's easier for me to see. All right, another bulb pen. I want the little charm, and then the little circle, and then the little domino. And then I'm just going to come through that lace knot. Look how precious. I mean, wouldn't that look cute tucked in any little journal? I think so. So now we have a companion piece, and I think I am going to, because we are getting long on time, I'm going to tie some ribbon on a couple more of these, and then we will call it done. That way they will be decorated. Come on. He was not wanting to go. I'm going to do this one different. I'm going to tie it like this. A little different look. And let's use, I wanted to use a piece of this green. So same thing. I'm just going to cut a more narrow strip off. And depending on how wide these are, you know, I might get more than just the 3. You never know. And these being not having anything on the back, being neutral, again, I can add a quote, a Bible verse, a sentiment, a little note. I could use these as little gift tags in the future if I wanted to. So fun. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, again, I could add more, but we're gonna stop because we have, I think I've been crafting for a while. I'm not good at looking at the camera before I start, so I really don't know. But it feels like it's been a minute, so we will stop. Let's look at, that was the original, and this is what we've made. Actually, I think I had it like this before. Okay, doesn't matter. Open, 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 pocket, 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 and journaling space. If you want to sew it in, you can, or you can glue it down, or you can just tuck it in a journal. I think they're cute, and I'm happy with them. I hope you are too. Everybody have a great day. Thanks so much for joining me.